right, good morning. Yeah, I started just a tiny bit late there. I was reading your comments there, Charles Latora. And first off, I'm just going to say, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm hoping to goodness that it's just a cold and I don't have to clean off my ductworks, but I'm just like loaded up with Vicks Vapor Rub right now. So hopefully I don't have to cough too much, but it'll probably be clearing up a lot of stuff. Charles, yeah, I'm just going to finish reading up your two little comments there because I haven't read them yet. So just so darn fiddly parts. If I don't do any other pretty painting on them, they just need to be assembled and based. For your goblins. Good morning, Telemachus. Great to see you. I'm just going to wait just a little bit longer to start off the History Heroes trivia, but hopefully you guys are all doing well. And like I said, welcome everyone. And also just want to say thank you again. It's a wonderful privilege to be able to do this. I mean, that's the way to look at it. So, but I do want to show off one photo right off the bat. Oh, good morning, William Arends from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. And like I was mentioning to Charles Latora, I'm hoping it's just a cold and not my ductwork that I have to get cleaned. Well, I should still get them cleaned, but got some Vicks Vapor Rub on here, so it's probably just clearing me up. The reason I'm several reasons glad to see you, William Arends. One is obviously just to see you. Two, I didn't get to respond to your comment. I lost it earlier on in the week, and I really wanted to comment on it. And thirdly, some of what you've been commenting on about, I don't know if you would call it, I don't know what you would call it, more of, I really don't know what words to put my pin on it, but I just want to say good morning to Meandering Mike. Great to see you. And so I'm hoping, William Arends, that when we get to your little segment, if I want to call it that when we talk about Robert Bloch, which I think I mentioned about a year ago. I know I did talk about it with Ken X way back when, because he actually sent me a link to, excuse me, the first chapter of his book that was translated. However, I think I may have found the whole book translated, which was actually on the link via the Wikipedia page. So I'll give you that much. You know what? We have enough people right now, so I'll start out. I'll give you the first clue for the History Heroes trivia. Then I'm going to show you a couple of pictures that a fellow museum member shared with me when I went over to that lecture, the Tim Cook lecture there on his Lifesavers and Body Snatchers book. Penn, one of the museum members, we ended up exchanging emails, and he sent me some pictures. I showed them to Zoe last week, and I was like, gosh, they're really nice. I'd like to show a couple people online, but obviously they're not my photos. He got back to me yesterday, said, no worries, you can show them. They're nothing amazing. Well, I mean, as in, but I just was like, hey, you want to see some nice pictures? So we'll do that. We'll do those two things, and then off we go. Yeah, that's basically what we'll do. And please let me know what you're up to. And also, like I said, yet again, if you've got any, suggestions or, things you would like to see, highlighted on or whatever, I mean, let's go for it. That's the way I'm looking at it. But I don't know, in a weird way, when I was looking at it for the 50th live stream, and I do hope that Harro Bosma pops on. If he doesn't, we'll just not use his game that he was mentioning. That isn't actually on BGG yet. Eylau 1807 by, I've got it written down here. We'll go take a look at it later. But like I said, it's on Game Start or Game Found or something like that. Meandering Mike knows the name. I was talking to him earlier about it. But anyways, let me pop on the first clue. It'll be interesting to see if you guys get this rather quickly. Like I was mentioning, I think you guys have only not got one trivia one, which I think is pretty bloody impressive. So I'll put it in the comments first, and then I'll go and pop it in the banners. And then I'm going to start showing you the pictures. So I was captured in 1915 and repatriated, but quickly returned to the Russian front. Who am I? Game Found. Thank you, Meandering Mike. So I'm going to show you the first. I want to show you one of the nice pictures, and please let me know also if you find that it's not. Actually, I'm going to start minimizing you so that way I can start altering a lot more of the stuff. So please let me know if when you see the picture on the screen, if you go, no, that's not very big. So like I said, this is some pictures of. So there you go. Actually, I'll get it full on here. Hold on. Poink. Yeah, it didn't really do all that much, but still. So that's a picture just on the back of the from the Canadian War Museum, and that's the Ottawa River. So the other side right there is just Quebec. Meandering Mike says Dr. Zhivago, and no, you didn't get it. You got it wrong. And is that? Oh my gosh, is Dr. Zhivago, if I'm not mistaken, is that a Napoleonics thing, which should bring us into another little thing we'll chit chat about later. Which was about the Eylau 1807 game with Harro, Bosma, and that as you guys, I just found out about this earlier this week. There's a Ridley Scott film coming up there with the guy there from Gladiator. I can't remember his name. But anyways, I thought you guys would want to see this. It just shows you how close we are, though, to Quebec. And that is a memorial, I think, for the people that got screwed over the decades from communism. I'm pretty sure that's what that memorial is. I'm not positive about that. And then just another shot. He got some really got some nice vibrant shots of that. So I just thought you guys would look at it. Manny Mike says, no, Yuri Zhivago was a medic during World War I, and he was fictional. Okay, thanks. So I got... Well, that's not unusual, is it? All right, so I'll give you another. I'm going to give you another clue then, and then we'll continue on with that. And I'll pop that in the comments, and then I'll give you the new one on here. And then I'm going to take a look at my. There we go. So I was a Scottish doctor who set up the Scottish Women's Hospitals unit to serve the Allies. Oh darn it! Oh, there are my glasses. Thank goodness. Because I do have a list here. I want to make sure that I go over them quickly. Yeah, I showed you Penn's picks. Oh, this is one thing I did want to show you guys that we didn't see last. Did I? Yes, I did keep it here. And I wanted to mention it to you last week. And it's part of the National World War I Museum and Memorial. Each month in their newsletter, they give you much I didn't realize until last month. That they give you a picture of, whoa, what do you think this is? I think they call it the museum mystery or something. So they have one for this month, and they're going to reveal it next month. And I thought, hey, I might as well show you guys the picture, and maybe you guys can figure it out. I think I know. I've got a good guess. I think I know what it is. But it'd be interesting to know what you guys think. So let me grab the picture here. October Museum Mystery. And then I'll present it. So there you go. Hopefully you guys can see that. Excellent. So that's, like they say here, the photograph below is an artifact from our collection. Can you guess what it is? Check next month's newsletter for the answer. And I'll pop that on the community channel later on if you want to take a look at the picture. I'm going to give you my guess. I think it's the end of one of those gold tassel things or whatever the heck they are for an officer's, whatever. I don't know if it's for a hat or on their shoulders or whatever, but that's what I'm going to go with. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think. All right, so we did that. I do, though, want to go quickly to the news. I hope I'm not banging on about the World War I news and memorial and all that stuff, but I mean, it's what I'm, it's what I'm into, for goodness sake. So, and I mean, it's not as if I know that I don't think any of us live in Kansas City, but there are a lot of things here that are available online. Oh, here, I'm going to show it to you. Sorry. And there. All right. And so you can see it. Excellent. I just obviously, I mean, some of these things you're not going to, but I mean, some of these things are going to be available online. I thought maybe you guys would want to, like some of you guys would maybe interested in the Vietnam, a combat photographer's view of the war. Meandering Mike says, braided pommel of a Canadian cavalry saber. Are you that specific? Holy Christ on a crutch. Jesus, if you got that right, I'm telling you, my God, that's insane. That was this other one is here too. So I'm going to just tell you, all these things, even if they're not online available when they do recorded live, all of these are going to be eventually popped on YouTube. I can guarantee you. Meandering Mike's is just a guess, but well, it's going to be interesting to see how close you are, man. That'll be really neat. But anyways, I just wanted to pop that on very quickly to show you. Now, hold on. I'm going to stop the screen. I think that's it. Let me go back to that. Now I can give you another clue. Oops, wrong one. And this one is, we established, and I'll pop it in the comments as well. Telemachus is a petrified stuffed turkey. Oh my gosh. And of course, we all, I mean, you know what? Oddly enough, and I'm sure Reese would be able to fill you in whether or not that's true or not. There we go. Oh, I didn't pop it in the banners. Hold on here. There we go. So that one is, we established an all-women hospital units in France, Serbia, Corsica, Salonika, and Russia. Meandering Mike, Dr. Quinn, medicine woman, and thank God, Meandering Mike, I finally know somebody that you know that you're making fun, or it's a fun or whatever guess, as in that's not a real person. Holy cows, Jane Seymour, though. Let's get into that, eh? Oof. Oh, but actually, that didn't sound right. Well, you know what I mean. Let's not nail it. No. All right. Oh, yeah, I did want to show you this bit. How do I do this? I'll have to present the thing here. So Lone Warrior Magazine, I think I've mentioned those guys before. I don't know if you guys are... Manny Mike says she can treat me any day. Oh my God, no effing kidding. Oh my God, Lord Lifton. Yep, that's a fact. Now where would I put you? Hold on here. So you would be on, I have to go up one. So I want to show you a little bit of potentially what you guys may be missing if you're not into if you don't have Lone Warrior Magazine. So Wardrobe plays World War II. Great to see you. I tuned in, and the first thing I hear is Jane Seymour. Let's get into that. Exactly. That's why I went, oh no, I shouldn't have said what I said. Telemachus, that's a quote for the ages. All right. So I wanted to show you guys the Lone Warrior Magazine. This is the latest issue, which you guys can't see yet, but I'm hopefully going to show it to you in a second. Share the screen, window, boink. So this is the latest issue of Lone Warrior Magazine, and hopefully you guys can see that. I want to make sure that you can. No, you can't. Why won't it show it to you? Yeah. Present. Stop the screen. Okay, so let me try this one more time. Present. Share the screen. Window. Wonder why it's not letting me show you as a thing. Oh, that sucks. Oh well, that's the end of that then. I'm not going to. I'm going to have to. I'm sure we've seen a PDF before, but anyways, I'm not going to. I don't want to spend too long doing it. Probably, I would say maybe the best 15 American dollars I spend per year, or like the biggest bang for my buck. I get 4 issues a year. It's all electronic, but just the amount of material that all the users keep sending in of like, hey, this is what I'm doing, you know, solo wise. It's primarily miniatures based, but it's pretty darn good. Yeah, like I said, it's probably, I would say, easily the best $15 I spend per year. So here's your new banner. I'm going to grab the new one here. Get rid of you. So it's women from all nationalities in our units. I'll put that in the comments as well. Women from all, boy, we're running out, guys. Women from all nationalities in our units. We're proud to be called Scottish women. All right, so obviously we're not doing the Lone Warrior thing. I am going to then get rid of the banner. So you saw the banner. I want to get rid of it for a second. Go back to comments. I want to grab the pictures. And I know these pictures may look god-awful, but it's because sometimes when I'm reading off a few of the things for what I found that kind of like poked my interest when I was reading the chronology book, and I'm going to have to show that book later. So we'll know what it looks like. So that way you guys know that this is not me writing this out. It's all, all been copyrighted from that chronology book. But here we go. I wanted to show you just a few things that I found interesting that popped in for this week. So hopefully you guys can see that. Boink. So there you go. Yeah, just quickly stuff. I don't know where the heck Stramitz station is, except that I do know it's in Greece. The main thing for me is knowing that now that the French are actually, not only do they have troops in Salonika and have been, providing aid or trying to provide aid to the Serbians, they're actually now in a combat role. And the other thing here was the text published of an agreement in September 5th of the Allies not to conclude a separate peace, and that Japan, more or less now, but almost like a year later, have said, okay, we'll go with that kind of thing. This one was a bit of an eye-opener, eh? 31st of October, steel helmets are finally introduced on the British front. And Japan warns China against, don't go down. I just can't pronounce certain words, so forget it. And then November 1st, food scarcity in Petrograd. And this is another thing that was interesting here. I was thinking, and there's supposedly a bit of rioting going on. And now remember, just a few months ago that after the Gorlitsa-Tarnów breakthrough disaster, or the Great Retreat for the Russians, that the Tsar took over complete control of the military. And then you've got this, and you know what I mean? Like, you can kind of start seeing where it's like, and you remember, people were telling him, don't do it. Everybody's going to, you're going to be on the hook for everything. And now it's like, holy Lord Lifton. I mean, who else are you going to blame? And then also this amazing thing about that, a small amount of, well, I guess maybe it is because if it's a mountain pass or whatever, but still that the Serbians are holding on. But I think we all know what's going to happen by the end of the year. And November 6th, 2nd, I just thought, well, as you can see here, the obviously possible compulsion, I guess they're getting ready or starting to ramp up, the fact of like no more volunteers kind of thing. I just, the other thing about the smaller cabinet and the war committee, I just thought, what I thought was kind of interesting is maybe this is a way of consolidating power, as well as when you get things smaller, you probably want to get things done quicker. Wardrobe plays World War II, says card driven, but I haven't played many solo engines have been made. Oh, I didn't read the first one there. Have you ever played Great War Commander? No, I've never played it, but predecessor Combat Commander looks very good. No, but I have seen it, and that's as much as I can. Who the hell has played that? I think Dad versus Son has played that, but I don't think he's done any videos on it. And that's the other one here, which hopefully will come into later when I go to show another thing about the Globe and Mail. It was the picture, I don't know if anybody saw it today, on the community tab that I posted. I just thought when I was looking through the Globe and Mail database, I thought what I wanted to do is not only, here, I'll get rid of this so we don't have to, there we go. What I wanted to do, besides just using the chronology book, because I think I've mentioned it a few times before. I mean, it's written by a Brit, for goodness sakes. It's going to be that way. One thing that was driving me nuts when I was rewriting, all the stuff that goes on from week to week is that, he'll say the enemy did this. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Can we be a little bit, because I'm not coming from that angle. I'm like neutral, if you want to look at it that way. It's happened over 100 years ago, for goodness sakes. That type of thing. All right, so you know what? Now let's go off to the fun stuff, if you want to call it that. Let's go to the games. Well, like I said, Charles Latora, you mentioned, and I think Meandering Mike helped me out last week, and he even actually gave me a nice little definition of, see if I can say it right again, Sirocco, which was I think Meandering Mike was saying it's some kind of hot, dry desert wind or something like this, or I don't know, it comes from a certain whatever. So I'm going to go to here. So this is the game, and you haven't seen it yet because we're going to it in a second. There you go. All right, so you guys can now see it. So Charles Latora, I don't know much about this game, so you're going to have to kind of tell us anything if you want to know about it. You said you were thinking about playing this soonish. Let's take a look at some of the images just for fun. There we go. I got in a big picture there. I will say this thing. Meandering Mike says the hot winds coming off of North Africa onto the Mediterranean. Thank you. Yeah, I thought you were. I remember. I thought it was a bit specific. Wasn't just like any old wind kind of thing. Hot, dry wind, let's say, coming off of Africa. I do find this rather interesting, Charles Latora, that you were you're not Mr. Card Game, and here you are thinking about playing Sirocco, if I'm saying it correctly. So and it's from Hexagon. I know. I will admit that, Charles Latora, you are right. But let me know what you know about it, or let other people know about what how to do this. So is it like how many people can you play with this thing? Is it just 2 people? Let's see. 2 to 6 players. Holy smokes. That's impressive. So we can't show the second game. Well, I mean, the third game that Harro, well, we'll show it later. But the other game that I was looking into was When Eagles Fight. I've got the Command Magazine game upstairs. And the reason why I brought this up, or wanted to bring it up, was because it seems like we were starting to get into looking at games like, talking about like the width of an offensive and, gains. Like, for example, the Battle of Champagne that just ended, for goodness sakes. The French only gained, I have to go and look it up from somewhere else, but according to the Great War Channel, when I was listening to it, the French only gained 4 kilometers through all that. Remember, that started off in September. So that's less than 1/2 of 1 hex in Der Weltkrieg. How the hell is that represented in any of that stuff? Charles Latour says, rules stink. I rewrote. That's right. That's what I thought you were. I remember reading about when you were talking about it. I rewrote rules once because they stink. If I want to play a trick-taking game, come and play hearts or spades, or wish they or bridge, even I don't know what the hell, how to pronounce that, Pinocchio, or I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so I wanted to take a look at this game. I remember watching Cataclysm now. Remember, all this stuff's in the links and whatnot. So if you want to go watch his playlist on it, which is great. But his playthrough, Pinochle, thank you, Meandering Mike. His playthrough of this game is the boxed edition. So it's the one with 1914 Glory's End and When Eagles Fight. So what you're looking here is the Command Magazine version, which I have. Haven't played it, and from what I know, and we'll go take a quickie look because you just looked at it here, but it's what I wanted you to show here is under the forums, and hopefully I can find it. Wrong information. Is it this one? User review. Well, we'll find it in a second. I should have had a proper link. Ted Raicer. Nope, it's not this one. So Ted Raicer does reply to him. Nope. I don't think it would be that. Come on, you silly bastard. I thought I had it. It's not impressions because we were just there, or were we? Yep, it's not that one. Darn it. I wish I had written it down. Oh, shoot. So I'm not going to keep looking for it and driving ourselves nuts. Or maybe no. Not sure what you mean by half strength exception. Ah, there we go. So it is maybe 10. Ah, here we are. I just had to go and look it up here. So hopefully you guys can see that. Bingo, my God. Well done. I have it out of the nowhere. We'll have to go there. Well done, William Arends. Dr. Elsie English, you did it. Meandering Mike gets Tilda Swinton. Yes, Meandering Mike gets it. William Arends, you're right. And we're going to get to that, which is great, because we'll take a look at her stuff, and then we're going to go on to your, hopefully with the Robert Bloch stuff, and is war impossible thing. I really want to get back into that bit. So there you go. The differences between the supply situations between the game I have and the boxed version. He was saying here, this is the biggie thing. It was interesting yet again about where he says here, In general, I agree with you in terms of this campaign at this scale. I do think the second version, which was the original version submitted to XTR, but back then Command almost always cut rail lines, more realistic. Reason being I wanted you guys to see that, I'm just going to stop sharing and we'll go to the picture, is, well, first of all, that there was a difference in the supply rules, and also that yet again, Meandering Mike has mentioned this repeatedly about this relationship, and it could be very different types of like how that relationship goes between a game designer publisher or whatever. Game designer and game developer publisher. I just thought it was really neat. Let's go to the History Heroes trivia. Well done, William Arends. Well done. That's impressive, man. I thought for sure you guys were not going to get it. I was like, well, that's over with. Okay, let me pop that up, and then we'll go straight to her thing. And remember, I also have all that, like a Wikipedia thing, if you want to go and find out a little bit more of her on that stuff and whatnot. So, and you guys can see, I'm just going to bump it up so you can read up. There we go. And we'll just go through it quickly. I was a Scottish doctor who set up the Scottish Women's Hospitals unit to serve the Allies. We established all women hospital units in France, Serbia, Corsica, Salonika, and Russia. Women from all nationalities in our units were proud to be called Scottish women. My hospital work in Serbia, improving hygiene, reduced epidemics raging there. I was captured in 1915 and repatriated, but quickly returned to the Russian front. Talk about tough as old boots, eh? Holy Jesus. I was the first woman to be awarded to the Order of the White Eagle from Serbia. And the British War Office refused my services, saying, my good lady, go home and sit still. Jesus Murphy. All right, so that's that. Yes. I did want to mention, though, on a side, very quickly, and it's on the links. This week, I don't listen to them every week, but it's on the regular rotation of my sources and links, if you want to call it that, for the live streams, is Wesley Live Say's Great War podcast. They're fantastic. They're all free. Like I said, I've got the link on the thing. I listened to the Fall of Serbia twice this week. It's just like anybody, some days you're going to be good doing your stuff and otherwise not so good. That episode 60, I think, knocked it out of the park as far as I'm concerned. It's excellent. So if you guys want a good, long, big chunk of like the Fall of Serbia and the whole, it's only like 35 minutes. Really darn good. But I did want to mention it because, well, it's all part of what we've been talking about and whatnot. And he's a good resource, really darn good resource. So here let's see how I'm going to do this here. I'm going to go to my links, get rid of Elsie Inglis. I'm going to go to the links. I don't need the file book, I don't think, anymore. So I'll get rid of you for a second here. And now we're going to go to, so this, I'm just, nope, it's the Short War Assumption. So I listened to this. Well, that's how I probably found out actually about Robert Bloch, for goodness sakes, was listening to this about a year ago or so. And then Ken X helped me out, or Ken, let's just say Ken. So this guy here, present, share screen. Oops. Present, share screen. This guy here. So yeah, you can see him. So the Short War Assumption, Nicholas Lambert. Great. Gosh, I can't afford that book. There's another one in it, and sadly not in the library. I went to check. It's like $160 Canadian. I was like, Jesus Christ. Called Armageddon, I do believe. Looks like a great book. This is a really, really, really interesting lecture. But he mentions Robert Bloch, who was a Polish. I don't know exactly what he was. He was in charge of Russian logistics during the Russo-Japanese War and wrote this, and I'm going to show you the picture of it, or at least a picture from the English or the translated version of his thing here. So I'm going to stop the screen, present a new one. Boink. Right. All right. So you guys can see that, and hopefully it's nice and big. I'll try to make it even a little bit bigger, and then we'll just go back to bit. So here's a little bit from his preface. And like I said, you can read the whole book there. And I was thinking about you specifically, William Arends, due to the fact that when I was watching that lecture again, and it's about those themes like you've mentioned before about this whole, I don't know how you would call it, this whole mindset or this change that has occurred, like, like you were mentioning in some of the comments about, if it wasn't for the the way trenches have gone into, like, it's just this industrialized mass. I don't know. I don't, like I said, I'm still trying to find ways of articulating it. But I thought, if anything, two people I would love to sit and listen to for an afternoon chit-chatting would probably be you and Robert Bloch. Anyways, you can see, I mean, that's just one random page I just grabbed from the preface. And look what this guy's writing way ahead of time, which I thought was really absolutely fascinating. And his book is called Is War Now Impossible? So I thought that was quite, I wanted you guys to take a look at that. Let's go and take a look at some other funky little links and whatnot. How time have we got? Not too bad. I'm amazed my voice is still here. How about we'll take a quickie look, even though Harro Bosma isn't here. We'll take a quickie look at the game he was thinking about. Got no banners on. Goody. Make sure here. So this is the game. Harro Bosma, I don't know if he's put money towards it, but holy Moses, does this ever look pretty like high, like pretty high components. Holy smokes. And I guess you guys probably know about the new Ridley Scott movie. I just found out about it, like I said, this week. So I thought, hey, wait a minute. So there you go. I didn't, I'm not advertising whatever. I was just, if Harro Bosma is here, we'd ask him a little bit more about what the heck is all about. Let's go to this one. So this is a link I thought maybe you guys would be interested in taking a look at. I'm going to present the screen. Good, and you guys can see that. I don't know if you guys know about this this site or whatever, but for me, I just wanted to go to the World War I's thing, and what I've just found really interesting was, where are you? This weird. Did you guys know about these things called Brewster body shields? And I was like, what in the world is these things? I was like, is this real or what? But yeah, they really were real. And here, I'll pop that in, and hopefully you guys can see that. Boing. Yep, you can see that. So I popped that in as well. So this is the real McCoy. Like, this really, I guess those are eye flaps or something. But I wanted to find out a little bit more about what these things are. And then reading this here, it says, an example of this armor appears in a scene of the 1970 Italian movie Many Wars Ago. Bomb removal, Telemachus. I have no idea. It's what's this here? First effective body armor developed for the United States. Chrome nickel steel breastplate. Clumsy and heavy at 40 pounds. Eesh. I don't know. Yeah, it was like this. I mean, was that like you're like a little tiny mobile tank or something? Good Lord. But so they went and said, hey, you can go and watch that. There's an example of it in that movie called Many Wars Ago. I don't know. I can't pronounce it properly in Italian. Uomini contro. But you can watch it free on YouTube. and it's subtitled. Talk about nice. Anyways, I've only watched 20 minutes so far. There, you can see that bit. And so far, what the hell's happened in 20 minutes? Well, an Italian army's been routed. I watched a German cavalry charge, a successful German cavalry charge. That was pretty cool. Telemachus says, looks like one of Wargames Atlantic digital sculpts. I just something. I see what you mean about the actual whatever. Wardrobe plays World War II. Again, this is why studying World War II, you can always learn something new. Yes. So the successful German cavalry charge and the the Italian general in this, it's pretty bloody obvious. He's based on Cadorna. I mean, it's like so obvious. It's not funny. I'm just like, holy Lord, lifting. Anyways, he's the son of a bee. That's all I got to say. Anything other things? Yes, I did want to show you. So this one here is another website if you're into plastic model kit stuff, because I wanted to pick up. Yep, you can see that. Masterbox Limited, they have a bazillion things. But what I did want to see, is it the 1-35 semi? I think it's the 135. There's some weird things here, guys. That's all I got to say. Borderline on, I was like, is this legal? I'm not kidding you. I don't want to get into it, but where's the World War I? This is the one I placed a pre-order at my hobby shop for. But this looks lovely. So you can see that. But look at the sculpts on that. Jeepers jumping. I don't care about the tanks. I just would love to have these guys painted up. They look great. But let me go back to, I will show you a bit, like I said, borderline as in, I don't know about this. It's, or some of the collections, I'm like, okay. I think it's the 124 scale. There's a lot of like trucker series, or like, what the hell is this? Like a girl sleeping in the back of your freaking seat. I'm like, anyways, you get the idea. I was just like, that's a bit, I just want to stop that there, because I was just like, that's a bit just whacked out. Yes, let's go to this thing. Have you guys heard of this thing? Or do I not have it here? Yes, I do. Have you guys ever heard of the Committee on Public Information? So this was and you were saying Wardrobe Plays World War II about why you like studying and like finding something out new in a reverse way, if you want to look at it that way. I'm going to pop it here. Is this? So yeah, you can see that. So the Committee on Public Information, and is very quickly just stuff I wanted to know. There he is, George Creel. More or less, I would say, kind of like, basically, he went to the government and said to Wilson, "Look, do you really want to really promote the war and get everybody on board?" And Wilson was like, "Yeah, I've got a lot of things to deal with. How do I go about this?" And so obviously, back in the day when civil liberties and Lord knows what could be bent like there's no tomorrow, I would assume. These guys went berserk. You want to talk propaganda? They more or less wrote the book on it. And like you were saying, Wardrobe Plays World War II. There you go. Supposedly, guess who do you think studied George Creel's work? A few years later to help them out in World War II. You can't. Oh shit! Sorry. Thank you so much for letting me know, man. There you go. Bingo. So there you go. Thank you so much, Wardrobe Plays World War II, for letting me know. So there you go. So this is George. Like I said, you can go to the Wikipedia thing, and I'll also show you there's a link for a 6-minute thing off from the World War I Museum and Memorial about selling. Well, it was part of a big playlist thing. It's called Selling World War I. And anyway, so Wilson said, yeah, let's go for it. They just plastered everything, hired tons of artists. He's the guy that actually gets you or I should say the Americans' very popular Uncle Sam staring straight at you poster. He was the one that got that going. Lots of times if newspapers and whatnot had a difficulty filling in space on their pages, they could go to the Committee on Public Information and get copyright-free articles written by guess who, and off it would go. Constantly just plummeting just slamming the message home to everybody to get on board. Save, eat less. For the soldiers, and spend money on war bonds, the whole 9 yards. Pretty impressive stuff as far as I'm concerned. So we got that done. Then we're going to go to the okay, wardrobe is fine. Okay, thank you. And and it's also part of the here, I'll show you I'm going to go to the Globe and Mail database thing. So this is that thing I was trying to tell you about. I would like to use to kind of help me out and get some session ended. Oh, go away, you silly little buggers. Hold on here. Harro Bosma, sorry guys, late as a clock, went back 1 hour in Europe. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting about that. Thank you, and thank you, Harro Bosma, for reminding me, because normally I would have known that you guys and I've got to do mine tonight, and that and actually, Harro Bosma, there was a couple of things that I kept off to the side because you weren't around. I was going to put it in the orphan links, so we'll go back to them quickly or get back to it. So yes, you guys can see that. So, like for example, I'm going to bump it up a little bit. Oops, sorry. So there, like Kaiser will ask peace from Ottoman capital. I mean, that's in November 4th, 1915. For goodness sakes. If I saw that, I'd be like, what? The war's over? No, but you can see what I mean. Like, it's a lot of I just thought, okay, if I can catch that on the first 15 minutes of me zipping around at the Globe and Mail database, what else? What other things could I find in other databases, in other newspapers around the world? And see what kind of messages people were trying to massage and whatnot. So hold on there, Harro Bosma. I'm going to get back to the trench line layout. There we go. Because you wanted to talk about trenches, and or you were saying, hey, why is I heard you were mentioning, so you can see that, boink. So I've seen this, actually. I think you're going to see the trench layout picture in a minute. This thing here, hopefully you guys can see that. If it's not big enough, let me know. I can blow it up. So yeah, I've got this. I think the Great War Channel actually does like some kind of rotating thing, or there's like a half an hour show or something about it on the Hindenburg line. But I thought maybe you, well, for me as well, Harro Bosma, lots of times it's to try to get my frame my head around what the heck, yeah, exactly. What is a trench like, and so on and so forth. This is a very simple, quickie schematic to give us, I guess, an idea of what the heck it was like. But you can obviously see that by the time you got to here, there's probably not a lot of you guys left from of this bits and that type of stuff. But yet again, another hopefully just to keep adding on to our chit-chatting about trench warfare, the development of trench warfare, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to get rid of this for a second. Unless there's something else I wanted to look at the moment. Yeah, I don't think so. Stop the screen. I did pick up this book. We mentioned it a few months ago or whatever. I supplied the link for the YouTube channel. Guy does an audio. He reads out the entire thing of Louis Barthas's diary or whatever, book stuff. The reason why I ended up picking it up for sure, when I was reading the review of the book last week or whatever, someone mentions that, said, oh, it was really neat to find out about the fact that sometimes when Barthas and whatnot, they were ordered to do a trench raid, they would run across and actually just hang out and chit chat and, play cards or whatever with the Germans across the other side for a bit. I was just like, whoa, yet again, that comes in, what we were talking about with the live and let live system, and just this whole aspect of people wanting to live and trying to figure out ways of wanting, I don't want to die kind of thing. And then you've got on the flip side of, the higher command and whatnot, knowing full well what's going on and trying to find ways of forcing people to fight. Just massively impressive that, there's this, I don't know, this tug of war going back and forth, and, a zillion other things. Oh, yes. This is one thing I certainly did want to mention, chit chat about. I'm surprised I didn't bring it up earlier. I'd love to know what you guys think about this, because I don't know the answer, and I'm not trying to be a devil's advocate or like I'm genuinely naive about this. I keep reading about, the German high seas fleet up there, didn't do much, but they kept the British Grand Fleet up there, not being able to do other things. And I'm like, what other things? So what I'm trying to find out now is, let's say magically at the beginning of World War I, the German high seas fleet disappears for some bizarre reason, just vanishes. What would the British get advantage? Like, what advantage would they get of just having their giant fleet up there being allowed to do whatever the hell they want? Like, what extra thing are they getting already? I don't know. And if you guys know, or put your thinking caps on, we can talk about it next week or something. I would love to know, because on the other side thing, from what a lot of it is with listening to the BBC Voices of the Past. I love it, especially when they start talking from with the German soldiers, because not just, obviously you're only going to get that once in the blue moon. And one of the guys says, "Yeah, we were up for a fight." Harro, Bosma, bad internet. I hope it's not me, and I hope it's you. If you know what I mean. Well, I hope it's not either of us, but. Some of the U.S. goes back tonight. Yeah, same. Well, we do. Yeah, it's bizarre. Telemachus says keeps them out of the Mediterranean. But Telemachus, how much more? Have you played any World War I naval games? No, I have not. Wardrobe, I have not. And look, so I'm going to keep talking, and while you guys hopefully keep popping in some comments here, and I'm being serious, because I'm get to the point now when I was listening to the sailors, and they're like, "Yeah, we knew we were outnumbered, but we were up for a fight. We wanted to go after we wanted to challenge the British." And like I said, I'm really, really naive about all this stuff. I mean, I probably don't even know how to pronounce Jutland or Jutland right. From what I've been reading, on both sides got the shit scared out of them. I think the British were like, "Holy F, our ships are getting pumped bad. We sacrificed a lot of armament or armor for speed and so on and so forth, and now we're getting our arses kicked." That type of thing. So what I'm saying is, I'm wondering if, from my game perspective, and let's incorporate Der Weltkrieg with demoralization, and that's where I think it's going to be would be a monster hitter, is what would happen actually if the Germans did manage to do so much of a hit against the British fleet that the German fleet was able to mitigate, I guess, the effects of the blockade so severely, or there was barely any blockade. Like, how would that have affected that, or is that possible? Just that way. And then I'm thinking about on the flip side, for both sides, morale-wise, that would be enormous. Even if, let's say, okay, it's not going to have much to do strategically or whatever if the Germans lost or something. I don't know. But morally, like demoralization for their whatever would just kill them. I don't know. Those are type of things that at least that's why I'm going to start trying to look up a bit more to find out about. It's like, why not let the Germans give it a go and see what would happen? Like, I mean, just go for it all the way. Meandering Mike says, lose their fleet, England could theoretically be invaded. There you go. So what I would like, my first thing is the first thing I want to find out is, like I said, does Der Weltkrieg have naval in it? It has a lot of naval in it, wardrobe for lift capacity and transferring of resources and whatnot, far more so than actual naval combat. The naval combat is more, I would say, for towards naval bombardment and amphibious landing support, that type of stuff, but nothing amazing. If anything, I would just say it's clunky or it's an add-on, and you would only find it in the grand campaign thing. So for every other module, it's not river flotillas, that type of thing, but you wouldn't find it in anything else. No. That for sure. Not the way you were, I would say you're looking at it. What the hell else? Yeah. So that's my big thing is my first big question is, okay, Harro Bosma, Zim in a car already says, thanks and goodbye. Have a good one. I hope you have a great week, man. That's my first big question I want to start finding out right now is, if the German high seas fleet did not exist, what would happen? Like, how would that change things around? Charles Latora says, been looking at Compass's Kaiser's High Seas Fleet game. Might be too simple. That's the one, isn't that Gilbert Collins did that? And I guess he was over at the Compass Expo, or is it on now or next week? No, it'd probably be on next week or whatever, because William Arends was deciding whether or not to go or stay around. And speak of the devil, he just goes in comments, maybe a greater part of the British Navy sent to the Eastern, which is what Telemachus was mentioning, sent to the Eastern Mediterranean Sea could have made the Dardanelles campaign successful. Interesting. Yeah, you're right. Eventually, probably the Turkish would have run out of mines, so eventually you would have had enough ships make it through. That's the way I'm looking at it, because I'm thinking, holy Christ, it was like one after the other. At the beginning, it was like, those few they missed. On a side note, yet again, William Arends about. With William Bloch, it's not directed with him, but with that Nicholas Lambert guy, the lecturer that does mention Robert Bloch. He's got another book on the economics or whatever, and the disaster of the Gallipoli campaign, which I was thinking about picking up as kind of like a cheap alternative of the his Apocalypse one or Armageddon one or whatever it's called. And he was mentioning that a lot of it also had to do, and I remember reading about this too on something else about the effect of what had been happening with the war, and that the Russians were having a bitch of a time with money due to the fact that they couldn't export their wheat and whatnot. And then you've got, like places like Britain that are obviously extremely food import dependent and whatnot. So, and they were saying that one of the biggie reasons was actually this push. Yet again, I don't know about you guys. Lots of times I don't want to start getting into like economic conspiracy theory type stuff, but and I don't want to, but I'm aware of trying not to go down that road. But I don't want to start giving too much saying people are too wise, but yet again, it's when money's involved, people are always into. Okay, so you know what, guys, Telemachus and William Harris, thanks for letting me know about the Mediterranean thing, because what I'll do then is see, but like I said, I want to know, I'm going to look up, there's got to be people that have asked this question a trillion times before, and I want to know. We got 5 minutes left, so that's my big thing. I don't know how, it was a bit of a clunky live stream this week, but oh well. I'll show you one last thing, and then we'll end it there, is just a picture of the live stream. I just found out about this morning. It was so ironic, is that I'm subscribed to the person, and I just never really clicked in that I was subscribed to this person until I read his About channel. I went, oh my gosh. And the reason why I'm going to bring him up, I'll present the screen. Telemachus says, Britain was trying to break up the Ottoman Empire. They had little resources to do it with. So you think, which is what I would like to do with them in my game. So that'd be interesting to see if they could do that a bit more. And Telemachus, if you want to talk about trying to break up stuff, that Nicholas Lambert guy's lecture about the blockade and this whole slew of things about economic warfare. Actually, he mentioned a little thing about, darn it, I can't remember the name of it, the Cornhill Committee, and that it was this, it was a secret little committee in London, England, and they were doing a lot of little hoodwinking trade back and forth. I think I mentioned it before. I even mentioned it last week with Meandering Mike. We were talking about this. There was a, let's say there was still trade going on. For example, the Germans needed rubber, and the British needed optics. Surprise, surprise. A bunch of people are getting medical grade lenses and whatnot from Germany, and surprise, surprise, people are getting rubber for masks and tires and Lord knows what's. But there was a lot of that other stuff. The Cornhill Committee, he mentions it and then says, oh yeah, by the way, something like 30 minutes after the armistice was signed, they were burning the papers for this, all the stuff that they were keeping about all, the side books or whatever. And he said, but not all of them. And so I was like, okay, screw this. Let's go find. And yeah, you can find. It's not much, but it's the index of a lot of stuff. And you can kind of look and you're like, I think I put it in the links, and you can like, money set aside for 500,000 gold set aside for, and you're just like, oh, what's this all about? It's interesting to know that, all this stuff's going on while there's, a zillion other people trying to figure out ways of just getting through this god-awful hell. Anyways, let's go to the final link bit, and then we'll go to that. William Harris, I'm impressed by the amount of World War I wargaming that you were able to play. Oh, thanks. Well, I don't really play all that much. I just stare at the table a lot. I'd like to do more, but here it is, the Flying Circus Models guy. So one thing I was kind of like a bit, I was like, I wish I had gone to, it's just down the street, for God's sakes, is, there we go. And you guys can see it. Excellent. Is this guy here. So look at it. Look what it is. One of my favorite planes, the SPAD 13, for Christ's sake, staring me in the face. I just finished putting on the mufflers this morning, or the exhaust pipes on mine this morning. So one of the things I was a bit sad about not showing you guys or going was to the Aviation Museum. It's just up the street. And I knew they had a Fokker plane there, but I didn't know what kind of plane or whatever. And lo and behold, look what he does today. 4 hours ago, I just finished watching it. It's the Fokker D7 from the Canadian Aviation Museum, for God's sakes. It's the actual one there. So maybe he lives around here, or maybe not, but he's got trip to Canadian. I think that's probably the one I saw, which got me subscribed. But anyways, I just found out that that's actually a reproduction. It's not the real, it's not a real Fokker plane. It was actually made by Peter Jackson's company, which I think is totally cool. And on a side note, I also found out that Albatross made more Fokkers, or Fokker D7s, than the Fokker company did. But put him in as well. And I was like, oh my God. my favorite period is the Great War, and I like to build aircraft models of that period. I was like, that's so neat. All right. That's it, guys. It's 10:59. I'm trying to think about that's. Oh, yes, there is another thing I do want to mention is there won't be a live stream next week because it's November 11th. And I'll be doing other things on, well, we call it Remembrance Day. So that's that. Yet again, just want to say thank you so much for everyone. Like I said, this is a privilege for me. It's a massive privilege that I get to share stuff with you. And I'm hoping, like I said before, I hope that you guys provide suggestions or throw me stuff to allow me to know what you guys are interested in seeing and you guys feel more engaged in these live streams. I mean, obviously, I don't want these to be an hour of regurgitation because I could do that on a written blog. I could just write down whatever. I want to interact with you people. I want to find out more about gaming and World War I and the whole 9 yards. That's it. Let's go. And look what's happened already. That's it. So I hope you guys have a great. Oh, and what is it? Their 4-year anniversary this afternoon. The War Room or whatever. That's amazing. That's it. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you 2 weeks from now. I hope. All right. See you later, guys. Bye.